I'll just start by saying a huge thank you for inviting us, and very glad that we got to come and sit down and support these two prisoners. And 24 months and 20 months, I don't know about you, but when the sentences came out of the courtroom, I felt a little bit scared. And you feel that slight gnawing fear. And I thought, you know, it's good to feel scared, it's good to not normalize these sentences, which are very, very quickly becoming normal. And why am I scared? It's because, I mean, I've been an activist nearly 20 years. I look young, I'm a lot older than I look. Nearly 20 years. And I remember Smash Edo, Free Palestine activists, getting acquitted when they took apart a factory that was selling arms to Israel. I remember the Kings North 6 getting acquitted when they climbed a coal-fired power station. I've heard stories from my old friend who's here about the Harrier Hawkjet women and Seeds for Hope getting acquitted after a long period in remand. I remember when the Iraq War, at the height of the Iraq War, the marches were being celebrated as a healthy democracy. And I remember when Greenpeace activists were imprisoned in Russia for 3 months about 10 years ago, politicians coming out onto the street to support us and say what a horrific thing this was. This doesn't happen in a healthy democracy. Now, the state has not always been great. We've heard from Tom about how some of the awful things that happened in the past were going on, but the pace at which things are changing right now, and the pace with which it is getting normalized for activists to be imprisoned for longer and longer and longer, is quite scary, and we should hold on to a little bit of that and make sure that we don't normalize it. But why? I mean, this is the question we're sort of asking ourselves. Why? This government could so easily repeal the last government's bills. It's willing to throw everything else that they've done under the bus, but not these two bits of protest. I was at the Labour Party conference on Monday, and when the heckler heckled Rachel Reeves, calling on her to stop arming Israel, she looked at him and said, "We are not the party of protest." This was a party whose entire history was built on protest. Why are they so scared of us? And the reason is because they know that our power as individual activists, our power as groups of activists, our power especially when you have JSO activists coming together with a PAL Action activist, coming together with an animal rights activist, they're scared that that power can multiply and grow and grow and grow. And that's why they look at those marches of hundreds of thousands of people in the streets of London every weekend and call them hate marches and try to undermine them. It's why they're going down this route of longer and longer custodial sentences. It's because they're scared that the power of all of these groups coming together might just be greater than the power of those lobbyists whispering in their ear, asking and demanding what they want. And that really, really scares them, which is why it's so vital, as the right to protest is under attack right now, which it really, really is, that we stick together, because they're going to try to divide us. They're going to hand out different levels of sentences to different groups. There will be media stories that call people good and bad protesters. You all know this far better than I do. That is an absolute tactic, and it's so important to stick together. We are all held by a principle of non-violence and direct action. We're committed to it. If you look through history, the number one reason they are scared is because they've seen that it works. They've seen that this is how you bring about change, and they are scared of that change. So just a huge thanks for having us here. We're really proud to stand in defence of those protesters today and those others who are already serving custodial sentences from groups. And we're hoping to start planning with all of you in the coming months.